Hello and welcome back to our live coverage here at the Hitbox Challenger Face-Off League of Legends edition. I'm at this joined by Stress, and we are now into the picks and bans from NiP and Unicorns of Love. Now, the problem is that we've had a couple of strange games already here, Stress. Both of these teams have been on the recipient end of a loss, so both these teams coming in with something to prove. I'm quite curious to see if NiP will go for the same comp.
Yeah, and I laughed because of the Yasuo ban.
Yeah.
First out by NiP, so kudos to chat. They identified very quickly that Yasuo is pretty good against Kog'Maw. Seemed that it was a lot better against the solo laners from NiP, and the Lulu ban here, we'll have to see whether they'll still go for a very similar composition here out of NiP, because I don't know how big a part of that composition Lulu plays.
Yeah, that's actually true. I'd say Rengar plays one of the biggest roles, but it's whether they feel the need to get rid of him, because Ku did have a very sketchy game last time around. Was heavily countered in his own jungle, I should say. Lost all of his blue buffs. I don't think NiP got a single blue the entire game. Syndra has been banned against Power of Evil, but it didn't seem that NiP were too fussed on picking that anyway. That's left Kassadin open though, and Alex will lock that one down first.
Yeah, so that's a pretty good pick, but it's also an indicator of NiP shifting away from that protect the Kog'Maw kind of style. I mean, it's still possible, but obviously Kassadin is a very strong champion, that if they can get onto either Power of Evil or Alex has played Kassadin in the top lane. We've seen Kassadin top coming back into things, or I say coming back into it, becoming prominent, builds a lot more tanky, because Kassadin just has really good late game damage as it is. So we'll see whether indeed they continue along the Rengar kind of composition, but it's a very open question right now, and there's a lot still there for NiP, so really this time I don't have quite as much insight on what they're going to select. Looks like they're going to leave the composition and go for something a little bit more standard and a lot more catch potential.
Yeah, going back to their roots, but perhaps going back to what they're super comfortable with, and at the end of the day, this is group stage. They've lost the first game, so now the pressure is on. That being said, it's on for both teams, so Elise has been picked up, Power of Evil, without having Syndra available. Orianna would be there if he so choose, which therefore you'd assume Kassadin's at top, but instead will pick the Kog'Maw again for free. So after banning Yasuo, they don't fear anything anymore.
Yeah, interesting. It's kind of, well, it's giving them brilliant late game, but they didn't get there last time. So, yeah. I mean, options for support, still Nami has worked out very well for them. On the side of NiP, they could still put that Kassadin in the top lane and maybe play something like a Twisted Fate or a Ziggs in mid. Who knows? There's a lot of options still available here for the Ninjas in Pajamas, and same can be said about Unicorns of Love. Lee Sin is available out of the jungle. They could take Rengar if they wanted it and, have practiced it. I think Shyvana Lee is probably going to be their best bet here.
Yeah. Also, Gavin might be a choice as well from NiP against Thresh if they want to go for 2v2 lanes, and obviously that is potentially something that I'm not going to be too interested in, but we're going to find out right now. Indeed, it will be Lee Sin and Shyvana locked in, so that's going to be the top and jungle respectively. At least that's what I'm going to go ahead and assume, unless we get Froggen version 2, when Lee Sin was played in mid for a little while. Was pretty damn strong as well, I've got to say. But let's see what NiP roll forward with these last two picks.
Yeah, maybe expecting... I don't know, they could give that Kassadin to Alex at this point, because I'm looking at champions still available that he plays a lot. Kayle Lulu banned, Irelia Jax banned, Shyvana picked. That doesn't leave a lot in Alex's champion pool, so I feel like this is probably what they're going to go for, is give a mid laner to Power of Evil here, put Kassadin top on Alex and try and get him through the laning phase, and then pick the Nami for Voidal.
What I would say there though is then they have a lot of magic damage. You got magic damage from Ziggs, Elise, Kassadin. Kog'Maw does magic damage as well, and in fact it's going to be Braum at bot lane with Kog'Maw. Well, I assume it's bot, they may go for the lane switch up. Last pick now for Unicorns of Love is more than likely their mid laner. Well, I'd love to see Karthus. I'm not so sure though. I'm not sold on this.
I would also quite like to see Karthus, just because it would give them that little bit of extra late game scaling. Makes it very difficult to get in, but the problem with that is Kog'Maw isn't really looking to dart forward, so I don't think it would be the best in this composition. Zed, maybe. I'm looking at it. If he can get through to Kog'Maw, then yes, he can put the damage down, but yeah, it's there are a couple of options here. Maybe even a Twisted Fate in this kind of composition I would actually quite like. I don't think it's going to be Malzahar.
Oh, Mystic Stress again. This guy has been on form today with his predictions. It will be locked in, it will be mid, and it is a good champion to catch the likes of Kog'Maw out of place and try and nuke him down. And he has gone for the double escape summoners. This is pretty standard, both Flash and Ghost for an Iki in mid.
Yeah, and you'll see people rushing Distortion quite quickly on Twisted Fate as well, just because obviously for both summoners, being given reduced cooldown by Distortion tends to work pretty well.
Alrighty, well, we are going to jump onto the Rift in a few moments. We're going to cut to a quick commercial break before we do so. When we get back, we're going to be live in the third game of today between Unicorns of Love and NiP. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few.
Sunlight begins to fade now, and I feel like I'm losing time, but I don't know how I'm here. The sunlight has turned to gray, and I feel like I'm losing love again. I don't know how I'm here. Feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere you're looking down. I could feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere you're looking down. 'Cause it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna breathe. And it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna need. And I know now we're getting older. The world we built is slipping through our fingers. we're running out of time. But you are the one I've chosen, and I won't lay still, living left behind, imprisoned by this love. I could feel your heartbeat, I could feel somewhere you're looking down. I could feel your heartbeat, I could feel somewhere you're looking down. 'Cause it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna breathe. And it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna need.
Hello and welcome back. We are live onto the Rift. I say that, I'm actually still on the loading screen. I don't know what's going on here, but I made this jump by Stress. By all means, Stress, jump in if there is action, although we haven't seen any early action so far today. But both teams have lost their first game, and NiP going back a bit to the drawing board. They're not going to go for that same kind of composition. They're going back to more comfort picks.
They are indeed. Sorry, I'm having far too much fun with Hitbox chat. The ability to post GIFs is so funny, but at the same time I know I'm killing everybody's bandwidth, so I am gonna cut down. I'm sorry.
Scumbag
everybody.
Stress.
But seriously, let's drop the bass. But right, we are into game. NiP. I wonder, how are these guys gonna steady the ship after the last game? Because it was a really bad game out of NiP last game. Are you in the game yet?
I am.
Vince?
I am.
Awesome.
Yeah. I can't really add on that. It was just a poor game. They lost first blood, and then from there on in, I remember saying this at one stage. It was like 11-0, or 0-11, I should say, for their solo laners, getting towards 30 minutes, and that's just a position where you don't want to be. In fairness to Freeze, and you did say this yourself, Stress, he didn't perform terribly. It was just the solo laners really letting him down. Died twice in that game, even though his team were 117 at the end, so Freeze is going to go back and pick up the Cogmo once again.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of interested to see how both of these teams play this, because N Faculty have beaten both of these now. Unicorns of Love look very scrappy in the game against N Faculty. To be honest, I'd say that NiP didn't even look scrappy, they just kind of fell over. But, you know, you talked about Cogmo a little bit. Yeah, Freeze is back on Cogmo. I mentioned in the game that Cogmo, Voidal and Freeze actually did fairly well, considering the rest of the team, how badly they did, how many deaths they ended up accruing. So I'm kind of confident in Freeze and Voidal that they'll do okay. And look at, I was going to say, look at what Voidal's going to do here. He's going to back away, but chose not to, and now he is. So he's going to go and join Alex in that bottom lane.
Yeah, I think for a few seconds I thought that he was going to wait a tiny bit to get level 2 before going down to bot lane, but wanted to go a bit earlier, allowing Freeze's free farm. We did call this in the previous game as well, so no huge surprises here. NiP's taking a lot of damage though from Power of Evil. Ignite's been used. There's the Ghost instantly afterwards, flashing out the bouncing bomb, and now turns it back around just to keep himself alive. So, and actually the flash in at the end from Power of Evil, that was pretty ballsy play from him at bot lane though. 7 players down here. It's going to be 4 on the side of Unicorns of Love. Q is going to repel back towards his own tower and should be alright, but already action really kicking off.
Ooh, he did get grabbed, but it's not going to be followed up. So that was really risky out of Aniki. He knew that there was no short fuse auto attack and the Ignite was timing out, so one auto attack wouldn't be enough to kill him. Had to land the gold card so that he couldn't follow up, and got a free flash from it actually. So sometimes that's the whole thing, high risk, high reward. it was definitely high risk, and he did end up getting a little bit of a payoff for that. But look at the CS difference, 22 to 12.
Yeah, that is significant, and they've also both gone back, so it's not a case of Ziggs staying in lane until Twisted Fate will move himself into position. Bot lane, it's going to be Alex and Voidal up against the duo lane. Hylissang's taking lots of damage. Here comes Q as well. Flash has been utilised from to keep himself alive, but the Cocoon's actually landed as well. Do they have enough damage to actually pick up this kill? Yes, they do! It's going to be at the cost of Voidal's life as well, but the first blood will go into the hands of Q.
Yeah, they trade 1-for-1 there, which I think Unicorns of Love will be somewhat okay with. Yes, it was First Blood, but the First Blood gold isn't too significant in the grand scheme of things. But it went to Vardag's, Freeze forced to flash in the top.
Yeah, gank coming through, and the fact that Dan was even there was enough for Freeze to flash himself away. Now, that is one of the pitfalls of Kog'Maw, really. Oh, Vardag's. If that Cocoon lands, he's in trouble. Repel comes up. Oh, it hasn't landed, and Thresh was there anyway.
Minions OP. So,
Yep.
you know, just making sure he can't land that Cocoon. But again, Freeze, even though he had his flash forced, he's... I'm trying to say he's safe in this top lane, but he isn't. There's now Dan's there.
Dan is actually ward jumping on. There's the teleport. Maybe thinking about going back on to Dan, who's eating so much damage. There is no need for Cassidy in the end, and Iniki's going to die in mid as well, has no summoners, and Q takes that one down. So across the board, NiP starting very aggressively, and the sad statistic is they have more kills already in this game than they got in the last one.
That is very true. It's looking a lot better for them, and what happened in that top lane was Dan used the safeguard to the ward rather than landing a Q, which is a little bit curious because it was early and he didn't have kick available yet. So, to be honest, it would have been better for him just to get the damage on, then pull back when he saw Braum, rather than use his escape to get in, and then be forced to flash and still die.
Yeah, and this, Unicorns of Love, we commented on this before, that it was a scrappy game, a really scrappy game, honestly, from both teams, but then Faculty just about edged it at the end, and so far it looks like Unicorns of Love, they're still playing that same kind of style. It's not really worked out for them. They come for the Dragon. They should be able to pick this one up. There's 4 players, no one's even close from an IP.
Yep, they will be able to balance back and forth the damage on this. They're taking a little bit, but you know, it's worth it in the end. So, turret for Dragon. Dragon, if you remember, has slightly increased gold once again. So, I think Unicorns of Love will be somewhat happy on that, but NiP will be kind of fine to trade that away. The difference between the two isn't that significant that, you know, NiP will be kicking themselves over it.
Yeah, and they do have kills as well. 2 of which are on Q, 1 on Braum, so not on their carries just yet. Voidal tries to keep this tower alive, buying up enough time for Kog'Maw to potentially get into contention, but nope, the bot lane of Vardags and Hylissang will get themselves away. Dan just gets in time to find his red buff has been taken away from Q, so Q is really stamping his authority down this game.
Nearly got there in time to save it as well, because
Yep.
Q smite, and then there was just enough for that, the neurotoxin, the venomous bite, to take the red buff. So there was a millisecond where if Dan had vision, he could have been able to take it, but you know, it's pretty difficult to steal anything against an Elise. But he's going to answer with trying to take the red of his own, but it's Twisted Fate in the middle that may need his help.
Ghost Spinny still has Flash, has Destiny as well, but they still get that summoner regardless, so NiP has been having a difficult time in mid. 15 CS behind on top of everything else. It could be a case that they just focus mid lane, and NiP for me has looked really shaky in these 2 games.
This is an interesting build out of Freeze. He's not opting for Blade of the Ruin King first. He's going for that Trinity Force. That's kind of different to what we've seen a lot, and I wonder how that's going to affect his second item, and whether it'll be a different second item than we're used to seeing.
It's definitely interesting. Q going to be stealing away the blue. Death Sentence doesn't land, and now Hylissang is in all sorts of trouble. He is going to fall, and Kog'Maw picks up the kill, so bit of a double whammy there. Power of Evil's going one-on-one with Aniki just below. the blue buff area, and that will force Twisted Fate away. He realises the cavalry will be roaring on in. In fact, he may very well have to flash this one, because now Ku is close. Cocoon has landed. There is a ward there. Also, the Mega Inferno Bomb, he tries to Destiny away. So ultimate used as well.
This is going badly for Unicorns of Love, and Ku may be caught out though. This could be a bit of a consolation prize.
But it's a shutdown on Lee Sin. I probably would have preferred that on Shyvana. Still though, a kill's a kill, and Ku is going to be in a death chamber for the next 10 seconds.
They managed to hold mid from that, so that's actually pretty good for Unicorns of Love, and it is only 700 gold that is the difference. And bear in mind, Unicorns of Love did take that first dragon of the game, so that is keeping them fairly close in the standings here. And speaking of standings, you can see the group standings there in chat. Lovely little image showing you exactly where we are. And faculty have won 2 of 2 today so far, so they have one more game later against Gamers 2, but we have to get to that one just a little bit. Meanwhile, we are right here in Ninjas in Pyjamas against Unicorns of Love, and this could be a very important game because it's likely to decide who is going to be solidly in the bottom 2 positions of the group.
Yeah, that's very true. A 0-2 scoreline is not a good start for 6 teams, and the way it's going to work, in fact, nope, I'm going to quickly jump to mid because I thought he was in bother. He will have to flash, and now it's Alex who has to walk away at top. Does dodge out of the Sonic Wave. But the way it works is the 2 top teams will go through automatically, and then the bottom 4 will go into a lower bracket in the playoffs. So the 2 top teams, it's a pretty important position to be in, as Dan has just been cocooned up from Elise, jumping back onto Ku. I'm not sure this position he wants to be in, although he is buying up enough time for Aniki, and this is a problem we were talking about before, that sometimes Ku does overextend, but there's Alex, they have enough damage, and with those 2 early kills that he's picked up, he's very tanky with the jungle item of the Ancient Golem, and now Aniki's gonna fall. What just happened? This is so poor from Unicorns of Love.
Yeah, it's really not working out for them, and it confused me a little bit then, because you said 6 teams. Actually only 4. I was thinking, do we really have 6 teams?
Wait, did I say 6?
Yeah, you said 6.
Apparently I said Jace earlier, now I've said 6. What is wrong with me?
So yeah, the way it's going to work is the top 2 will advance to the winners bracket, the bottom 2 will advance to a lower bracket. So it is what you said, just the numbers
Maths.
a little bit off skew. Yeah.
I actually legitimately am a bit worried because I didn't realise I said Jace, didn't realise I said 6. I may be going senile prematurely. That could be a problem.
I know you're a little bit older than me, Vince, but I don't think you have to worry too much about that.
Hold me stress.
Alright, calm down.
A natural progression, but yeah, it's 4 teams, not 6. So I appreciate you bringing that to my attention, because people will be like, wait a second, what?
Yeah. I'm at a loss for words on this one now.
This game, it's crazy to me. Again, the challenger scene. This is the challenger scene in a nutshell. NiP got completely battered last game, and now they are just turning the knife into Unicorns of Love. 3 players strong at bot lane. Ku's not shown himself just yet, although he was stood on top of a ward, so Unicorns of Love know what's to be expected. Alex and also Power of Evil pushing mid though, so they are getting the towers now, 3-1. And you can see that Lee's waiting off in the wings. Box has been used underneath the tower. Freeze's took a lot of damage, and actually Voidal will have to dart back towards him. It's going to be Freeze pick up the first kill, and then the second goes down again to Ku. Dragon's Descent in, now in a 2v2 situation. Destiny's also been used, but I believe Twisted Fate was stunned there from Elise to cancel that ultimate. Freeze is running away. Ku's going to buy up enough time. Mega Inferno Bomb lands, and again the damage is being done. Huge fight for NiP, 4-1, and actually it was a 4-2 because the ultimate and the passive popped off from Freeze.
Freeze is doing such a good job right now, and something I want to highlight is, remember the CS is now added to the AD carries by the supports that are using either Targums or Relic. 121 CS, including 15, which Voidal hasn't even been in lane for a lot of that with Freeze. 94 for Lucian, and Thresh has given him 23 of that, and they have been laning together. That is a massive disparity between these 2 AD carries.
simply huge. And there was a lane switch up, so you can't say, Lucian just got straight up outplayed or anything like that. It's just a case that, in lane I mean, it's just a case that Freeze has been CSing a whole lot better. And obviously the fact as well, oh damage. My goodness, that is a Triforce. On Cogmore, one more living artillery will do it. Oh, it won't. It just about does it. Just in fate. How much health does he have? About 5
12.
left.
It was 12 health.
Oh my god.
That's the difference between Bioarcane Barrage timing out and not. Oh,
True.
Alex has picked up a kill.
He did it top lane. I was watching that one. It was kind of inevitable. Vivisachi had no Dragon's Ascent, no Flash, and, well, Alex is a Cassidin. That's pretty much all you need to know. Freeze does get caught by a death sentence, but the follow-up damage isn't there. And as I was saying before, it's just a case he got out CS. Now you could say that with Q being so prevalent around the map and with him being almost omnipresent across the board, that's going to put Lucian in a bad position because he always has to worry about Elise. But still, Freeze has done such a good job.
This is a lot more like the NiP we were expecting. Dan flashes in.
He does. Freeze should die here, so that is a good pickup. That was certainly worth, but Helizang is going to fall. Mega Inferno Bomb so close to picking up Vardags, and does Alex want this? No. Just too far away, and he will not be gambling with his life.
But I think this tower's going to fall. I mean, they've... Oh no, okay. It's healthy. I thought it was like half health for now, but... There's a wave pushing up to the inhibitor in the top lane. They're now pressuring out mid again.
Yeah, Vivisachi had Dragon's Descent. Oh, yeah, he gets caught. He gets caught from the Glacial Fissure there. Style points to Voidal, who eats a death sentence as well. Not the ideal target, but underneath the tower. Are they going to be able to secure it? No, and they've managed to somehow nearly pick up double kills. It's going to be one Lucian falling down. His destiny from Aniki desperately needs another kill, but he's going to fall. Double kill to Ziggs. And triple kill now to Ziggs. This game is just crazy. 27 kills at 16 minutes.
I wish you were seeing this, but unfortunately something is up with UpReducer's PC, so... That was... I didn't see what happened there. Something about a nice background, and... yeah, I didn't quite catch what Hexit's background was. So yeah, sorry you didn't get to see that, guys, but that was NiP kind of just rolling over a middle turret, and we're nearly 10,000 gold up.
So can they see now? Or is it
yes,
still
it's back now.
Okay. Knowing Hexit, I am a bit worried to know what his desktop is, because it could be something pretty bad. Just knowing him.
Hexit tried to power up his PC, and essentially this happened. Sorry for those of you that are watching on a VOD, I just put a GIF in chat. Oh dear.
This game, though, again, I'm kind of at a loss for words because it's so one-sided. 4-0 Cassidin, 4-0 Ziggs. Cogmore's got items and kills, and you look across the other side, and it's just bare bones items again. Infinity Edge and Lucian, that's a good item, but it's not going to be able to deal with all the damage that's coming against it.
Yeah, I mean, it's 18 minutes in, and we're at nearly 10,000 gold, and an inhibitor tower is likely to fall fairly shortly. I mean, they do have wave clear here, but Aniki's only got so much mana now that he doesn't really have the opportunity to go and get blue buff. The saving grace they've got is that Vizidachi is pushing that bottom lane and has pushed it so that Alex had to back away, but look at the damage out of Ziggs. They can't wave clear this fast enough, because TF can't step forward to blue card anything. And that means he has no mana, and he can't throw out wild cards that often. Yes, he's got enough fiends, but that won't give him the mana to really hold an inhibitor.
Just crazy, crazy action. And if Vardags eats a bouncing bomb into like a Riftwalk combo from Alex, he will be dying. We've already seen that a couple of times. He's got 2 Doran's Blades, but that's not tanky enough just yet. Q gets caught from death sentence. Again, though, they ideally want that to land on Cogmore. Now, Alex is moving into position, and the siege continues. And they've got a pretty good comp to actually siege with. Hillisang does get Cogmore this time, but that's going to be the end of his life.
he got freeze, but Alex ended up getting him. So Hylisang coming off worse from that. These bombs are just continually landing right now, and Ku has to be careful. Ku, what are you doing?
Well, he's going to repel, but Versace runs into a trap. He dies. Twisted Fate eats a Mega Inferno Bomb. Vardags actually flashing to secure his own life there, but he still takes so much damage that he has to back on away. And I say securing his own life. Alex comes in, Riftwalk, Null Sphere, and that will be the end of his life. Going back in for seconds. This is buying up enough time for that inhibitor to fall as well, and that's an inhibitor pre-minute 20. More kills falling down, double kill for Kassadin in Hitbox. This game is about as over as it gets.
Yeah, this is pretty much done. I mean, NiP, they're kind of low on health, so there's possibility for a couple of picks here, but this is gonna be NiP taking down Unicorns of Love. It's 20 minutes. They can finally surrender if they chose to, but man, that's a lot of damage.
Hi, I'm a Kassadin. Dead. Rabbit of Death Cap. Rod of Ages. That is huge at 20 minutes. 10-0 now. And the Nexus is falling.
Alex had something to prove on this game after going 0-8 in the last one,
yeah.
So I think at least we can say it wasn't permanent morale damage to NiP after the first game.
That is certainly one way of bouncing back from a heavy defeat, is to just go and completely devastate the opposition. That's what NiP did in this game, and they are now moved to 1-1, but that will put Unicorns of Love 0-2 at the bottom of the group now. And you called it before, that is not a position you want to be in. They're almost guaranteed to be in the lower bracket going forward to the playoffs tomorrow.
Yeah, indeed, and we do have next game coming up. I'm trying to keep in the top of my mind which it is. So we've just had Unicorns of Love versus
Gamers
Ninjas.
2 next.
Yes, it's Gamers 2 versus N Faculty, so that'll decide whether N Faculty are going top of the group or whether they will have a contender in Gamers 2, and that game will be coming up in just a couple of minutes for you guys. So we will get everybody into the lobby, and we will be back very shortly with Gamers 2 versus N Faculty.